Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Ed Paris TV, and we're going to talk about visualization and imagination and how those two things can really help us get to where we want to get to. For instance, if you want to lose weight, then visualize yourself thinner. Picture it. Picture the journey, too. What's it going to take to get there? And start to come to peace with it. And also be determined. So use that picture as a method of determination and think, what do I love more? That vision of myself or this donut that's sitting right here in front of me? And you have to be honest, but that's going to help you decide. When you start to ask, what do I love more? That long-term goal that can be something that I can keep up for a long time for the rest of my life, or the satisfaction from eating this donut here, which is so temporary. When you think in terms of what do I love more, it makes it easier. Also makes it easier, for instance, for me this morning when I was doing incline presses, I wasn't just thinking about, oh, how can I improve the, separation between the upper pectoral and the lower pectoral and the separation between the deltoid and the pecs. No, that's a secondary thought. I mean, I welcome the results that come from doing incline presses, but that's not where my head was at. My head was at, well, what if I have to push a really heavy set person up over a wall to save their life? That's precisely what incline presses are going to be useful for. So when you're doing an exercise, think in terms of how is this going to be useful? And how am I going to be any better as a result of this? So when you start thinking in terms of like, how are you going to be any better? And by better, I mean closer to the ideals that we talked about in the video about the tree of life. If we're all interdependent, interconnected, and interrelated, then when you find selfless reasons to do what it is that you're doing in the gym, or what it is that you're doing at the mogun or dojo, then you're going to see that your motivation is going to be greater and your success rate is probably going to surpass what you previously thought. Because now when you're acting selflessly, even in self-development and self-improvement, if the motivation is selfless, man, you're going to go further. Remember the last panel of the first issue of Spider-Man? When it was written in a little box up top, with great power comes great responsibility. And that's the Zen moral of the story of the first issue of Spider-Man. Well, there you go. It applies to this too. When it comes to employing your imagination, imagine scenarios when each exercise is going to come into use and will be something that will help you make a difference in somebody else's life. And you'll see how much further you'll get with each exercise and all your goals. I mean, I reach my goals a little bit faster than a lot of people that are around me, but I know of others who also reach their goals very quickly. And it's for the same reasons. Because I'm not just doing this to get up on stage and start posing and looking good. It's doing it for a reason that may be beneficial for someone else. And so when we start to employ our imagination to see how things are useful, it really, one thing leads to another, and it's amazing. For instance, when you go do your forms, we shouldn't be relying on our sifu or sensei or guru to tell us what each movement is for. Well, you have to discover a lot of these uses for yourself so that you can be an original and not a copy of someone else. The only way your Kung Fu is going to be truly your Kung Fu is if you're the one who processed and thought all the possibilities through. I mean, sure, you can be given a nugget here or there by one of your elders about what something's for. But a lot of these movements have multiple uses, and it takes a vivid imagination that thinks about these movements for hours at a time to figure out what they're really for. So using your imagination as a martial artist, remember the word artist is in there for a reason. So use your imagination. Same thing with if you're working out. Artist, it's artistry. You're sculpting something. You're using your body as the clay. So visualize the result. When you're doing an exercise, visualize what it's useful for. Visualize the muscle fibers contracting. Visualize the full contraction and the stretch of the movement. Engage the mind to muscle connection with visualization and imagination, and you'll see how much stronger. For instance, you might be shooting one day to go and get 8 repetitions of a particular weight at an exercise that you want to improve on. But if you're thinking selflessly and you're visualizing the fibers contracting, for what reason? So that you can help someone else one day. And when you're thinking in those terms, helping other people, wow, the results, they're just going to come. You don't need drugs. You don't need growth hormones, steroids, any of that stuff. You just need motivation, sound, selfless motivation. And you'll see the results, they'll just come. So that's my major point with all of this. It's all connected. You know, the tree of life, working out, martial arts, the sense of responsibility, the love, it's all connected. All right? So speaking of love, sending you lots of love, welcoming any back, comments, likes, shares, and please subscribe to Ed Barras TV if you dig this, and we'll talk more. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later.